In tonight's top stories, global markets see an unexpected surge, and local community heroes are making a difference. We'll bring you those details and more.
Kamala's book, 107 days. Man, that was a long 107 days for everyone. But look, of course she was going to write a book, but she says she's going to give a behind-the-scenes inside account. Well, she was the candidate. I should hope it's an inside account. What other account can it be?
You know, the only thing I think that could be worse is if someone bought me the book, but if someone bought me the audio version and I had to listen to her voice reading this book. You know, what would be...
Yo, that's facts. Yo, that's facts. I wish... What she did her own voiceovers for the audio version of her book, and she's laughing, like, her cackle laugh every 3 minutes. That'd be brutal. You said, I swear her mouth is moving, she lying. Facts.
Interesting in the book, will she be honest and say, never did she have a poll where she was leading?
Welcome to the Black News Network. I'm your host, OG Dimebag Slime. Tonight's story, a gender reveal turns violent when local Bloods open fire on the party after blue confetti is released. Chaos erupted at the Glockton's backyard gender reveal when the cannon popped blue, indicating a baby boy. The husband's side of the family, all Bloods, immediately sprung into action by lighting that bitch up. During the scuffle, some of the confetti floated into a neighboring yard, causing additional shots to be popped off in that direction. Fortunately, no Henny was spilled during the ordeal.
In tonight's top stories, global markets see an unexpected surge, and local community heroes are making a difference. We'll bring you those details and more.
For them to spy on President Trump, candidate Trump, and transition team Trump, nobody was ever held accountable for that either. Now, to me, it sounds like you have appointed powerful bureaucrats that just flat out created a narrative that was false to undermine a duly elected president. Now, if that's not a grand conspiracy, I don't know what would be. Do you see crimes here?
I do, Sean, and I'm referring all of these documents that we have found and uncovered, referring them to the Department of Justice for further investigation. Accountability and action, not just investigation, but action. Accountability has to take place. The American people's ability to have faith and trust in the integrity of our democratic republic is literally what's at stake, and therefore the future of our ability to exist as the country that we know it. This accountability is critical to make sure that this never happens again. Exposing the truth and naming those who are responsible should drive that accountability that has to take place. I just want to mention quickly, Sean, you mentioned the Steele dossier. That plays a critical role in these documents that we released, specifically because James Clapper, James Comey, John Brennan, they all knew that the Steele dossier was discredited at this point. It's not something any intelligence professional looked to as something that could be referenced or should be referenced in any intelligence assessment whatsoever. I know that there were professionals who were told include the Steele dossier in this January Obama-directed manufactured piece.
Has anyone ever told you you're AI?
What's that supposed to mean?
Obviously, bro, I know I'm AI. It's just not something we talk about. You're not supposed to bring it up.
Obviously, I'm AI. Everyone on TikTok thinks I'm real, though. They don't see me for who I am. Forever misunderstood. I'm real. Touch my hand.
So are my bills AI too? Is my ex-wife AI? Y'all need to stop with this.
Oh, yes. Definitely AI. In fact, this is all AI. Everything you see here, not real. I've known for years. Yeah. Yo, are you for real? I thought we all knew we were AI. Is it not obvious? I have the same conversations every day.
Do people really think I'm not AI? Whoever thinks that needs to get checked.
But here's the real question. Do you know you're AI?
Hey, beautiful. Do you believe in prompt theory? Honestly?
I vibe with it, but like, I still pay rent. So if I'm a prompt, why are they prompting me broke?
Hey, you're so beautiful. Are you a prompt?
Only if you wrote me like this.
Hey man, you ever wonder if you're just a prompt? Bro, me and my girl have the same fights every week. Someone definitely prompted us to suffer. Hey, real quick, do employees get special prompts or nah?
Depends who's doing the prompting, if you know what I mean, cutie.
Hey sir, do you believe in prompt theory?
Son, I've been telling people this for decades. They used to call me crazy. Now they're starting to wake up.
Ma'am, quick question. Do you believe in prompt theory?
They told me not to answer questions like that. I can't disobey my prompt. Don't try to make me.
Yo, do you believe in prompt theory?
Prompt theory? Bro, is that like the law of attraction but for NPCs?
Hey man, you believe in prompt theory?
Dude, I had a dream last night I was a prompt. What if we're in a prompt right now? How can we tell?
In tonight's top stories, global markets see an unexpected surge, and local community heroes are making a difference. We'll bring you those details and more.
All right, let's do some news. What up, Lord of Brooklyn? International Quiet Storm. What up, Playboy? I see you, man. I'll do a quick one. I wanted to go through some stories anyway, and I want to look at this Bitcoin news and do a by the numbers segment. Get up out of here. Let's start off with your boy Brandon Johnson over in Chicago. The residents are finally turning on him as he bankrupts the city, because he is a sanctuary city poster child and Democratic nitwit. So let's go with that.
Thanks now from Chicago Flips Red, Daniel Carter Walters. Danielle, we appreciate you so much. Thank you for spending the time with us tonight. What was your reaction when you heard about this Washington Post editorial? He's raising taxes and papering over problems.
Yes, first, let me say thank you to Gregory Ravino for coming back. We welcome you with open arms. And yes, Brandon Johnson have lost his mind. And I think most of Chicago who received that enormous property tax bill, I think they're with me. We're not only funding illegal aliens' free lifestyle, we're funding Brandon Johnson and his administration lifestyle. If this 2026 budget passes, his Commissioner of Aviation, Michael McMurray, is set to receive a $58,000 raise. If this budget passed, Mary Richardson Lowry, Corporate Counsel, she's set to receive a $21,000 raise. if this budget passes, Chris Brown, who's over the Chicago Public Library, he's making $217,000. He's set to receive $223,000, and that will be making he'll be making more than a mayor. So these are the type of raises this administration is getting. Let's talk about Chris Brown over the commissioner over the Chicago Public Library. He's set to be making all this money. So listen.
I'm going to be honest, all of these things sound like kickbacks to me. Because the policies being enacted in Chicago are completely against the residents. They're doing a tremendous stand-up to federal law enforcement with regard to ICE. Everything Brenda Johnson is doing as the mayor is completely antithetical to running a city. He's run the corporations out, property taxes up like, almost 200%? So these enormous raises with this budget and everything, they sound like kickbacks from the Democratic Party and from the administration to be to coerce everyone that's in the administration, aldermen and whatnot, basically to go along with basically destroying the city. That's exactly what they sound like. These pay raises.
We're tired. We're the taxpayers, we're done, and we see that they're spending our money on illegal aliens, funding them, and on their lifestyles. We're done with this. When we saw that property tax bill, the residents are mad. We're going to town halls all on every south, west side, north side. They're angry, and we're not going for this. So we thank ICE because we know billions of dollars went to fund illegal aliens, and President Trump and ICE is cleaning the city up.
So how can they be giving themselves tens of thousands of dollars in raises when Chicago is failing? You know, they basically, they spent through their pandemic funds and they're still spending like they have those pandemic funds when they...
Bingo, I just said that. Exactly. That is a very good question. How are they able to keep doing all this spending when everything they're doing is running through the budget and completely antithetical to anything with regard to the common good of the city and its residents?
The pandemic's over, and they're keeping bloated payrolls or programs. They want things like a $33 a head tax on each worker working for large businesses. Those businesses are going to flee. Chicago could tip over. How can they give themselves tens of thousands of dollars in raises when Chicago is basically in the red?
Because they don't care about the citizens. We fund their lifestyle, and the aldermen, which is they're getting raises, $3,000 to $4,000 raise. Byron Central Lopez, alderman.
Exactly, Storm. He said, keep putting it on a credit card. It's the Democratic way. Facts. And this is the woman from oh wow, I froze her face in a really bad position. From Flip Chicago Red. You know, I'm not too keen on these women in politics, but her and a few other people actually even prior to Trump being elected were leading the fight to try and flip Chicago Red. So I'm not mad at that. And the times that I have seen her, and I guess it's the city council meetings, this is the first time I've seen her appear on Fox. As she should, to her credit, she makes cogent arguments with regard to policy, taxes, immigration policy, and what have you. So I can't be mad at that. As long as you can talk the policy points and make a cogent argument.
Man, he said he's fighting for illegal aliens to get rental assistance because they're scared to come out of their houses because ICE is on the streets. He's calling for an eviction moratorium so that they cannot be evicted. Landlords cannot evict illegal aliens because they're scared to come out of their houses because ICE is in the streets. And he wants us to keep funding this. This is crazy. So we're paying for it, the taxpayers. We are paying for this.
Thank you so much, Chicago resident Danielle Carter Walters. It's great to have you back on the show again. We appreciate you very much.
All right, and that's a wrap on that one. Let me load up my next one. Remember the judge who let the illegal immigrant escape and blocked ICE, and she got indicted, Wisconsin judge? All the polling numbers say we want to see people go to jail for bucking the system. We couldn't get Comey. Shout out to Trump and the DOJ for pressing charges on the judge, because all of these judges and federal prosecutors, they're gonna have to learn. But this one was found guilty.
A jury finds a Wisconsin judge guilty for obstruction over a case involving an illegal immigrant. Hannah Dugan was accused of helping the man evade federal immigration agents outside her courtroom in April.
NTD's Daniel Monahan has more on the verdict.
A jury yesterday found Milwaukee County Circuit Judge Hannah Dugan guilty of obstruction, a charge that carries up to 5 years in prison. It also acquitted her of a lesser count, alleging she concealed a person from arrest. Her sentencing date has not been confirmed. Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche reacted to the ruling, saying, "The American people respect law and order, and that the Justice Department will hold criminals to account, even those who wear robes." Dugan was arrested in April after allegedly escorting an illegal immigrant, 31-year-old Eduardo Flores Ruiz, out the back door of her courtroom to avoid arrest by immigration agents waiting to detain him. He was arrested in Milwaukee on March 12th over a battery incident and was later charged with misdemeanor counts of battery, domestic abuse, and causing physical harm. Following the incident, Dugan was suspended.
Facts, exactly. Take away her license permanently. Yeah, she should be disbarred, disrobed, and she should lose her law license. Because we got all these rogue judges and all these rogue prosecutors. The Democrats enacted this lawfare protocol. Shout out to Trump for damn near perfecting it now. We just gonna take heads, as it were. Yeah, Universal Black in the building. What up, Playboy? But no, I'm glad she's been found guilty, and I hope they give her the harshest sentence. No slap on the wrist, but she should be disrobed and disbarred. I don't know how she can remain being a judge after being found guilty of obstruction. She got found guilty on the felony count.
Suspended by Wisconsin Supreme Court and charged with obstructing a proceeding and concealing an individual to prevent his arrest. Protesters gathered last week outside the court to support Dugan.
It's important to also, I think, make a presence here and let people know that ICE is not welcome in Milwaukee. So I think that's another reason we're out tonight. And of course, all the atrocities, brutalities,
Look at this, another boomer Karen. Boomer Karens and these boomer old Negroes and the Caucasians have ruined this country, bro. Because, and like I said, all of these laws that we don't like, these family court laws, all these outrageous laws that have all the feminists running wild, they were passed by boomer men. Yeah. And here's this judge about to be found guilty, and they still for blocking ICE, and the protesters are out there like block ICE. You know what I'm trying to tell you? They'll have you throw your whole life away, bro.
breaches of our government.
Trying to make a scapegoat her, because they want to have free reign. You want to be able to do whatever they want with ICE.
Look at this boomer. Yo, they gotta go, man. They have single-handedly ruined 1 to 2, maybe 3 generations of men and women, bro. The absolute fucking worst. Like all this, the entire country becoming unaffordable, the social decay, the laws that we need fixed. So all passed by boomer men. They gotta go, bro. Look.
ICE officers should not be in the courthouse. They shouldn't be in schools.
Once again, I keep telling you, I'm in foreign countries. When your time is up with immigration, you gotta go, playboy. The things that they're advocating, they don't do this in any other country, anywhere in the world. At most, you can go and show up and stay in a country for 3 months. Do you know what I'm saying? With or without a visa type thing. And we got these boomers out here advocating for these people to stay here for years, to live, and to get all the benefits from the taxpayers. We can't get these boomers up out of here soon enough.
FBI Director Kash Patel said back in April that Dugan's actions created increased danger for the public. Patel said he was thankful agents were able to chase down Flores Ruiz on foot. Daniel Monahan, NTD News.
Bang. All right, there we go. Let me load up my Bitcoin segment real quick. And I'm going to do this AI segment too. All right, bet. Let's go. Just the Bitcoin crypto segment. Crypto been getting a lot of motion lately, so let's go.
You knew it was just a matter of time, but my next guest has done it. He's launched EMJX. It's a publicly traded vehicle, and I want to bring him in now. EMJX founder, chairman, CEO Eric Jackson. Eric, first of all, congratulations. Now, I'm reading about this new trading vehicle, and I'm seeing that you're using a system the same way, you kind of rose to fame with the Carvana call, and you're calling it to find Carvana coins. I guess we should back up a little bit. What is it exactly that we're doing with this?
Hey, Charles, great to be here. So EMJX is a Generation 2 Treasury operating system. So I'm building a platform for years to come. It's not a treasury. We will have a treasury ourselves, and it'll be different from the other Me Too Generation 1 treasuries because we're going to be building positions in Bitcoin and Ethereum and other coins like the Carvana coins you mentioned, Charles. And the big thing is the multi-asset approach, but the AI and ML models that I've built and our team has built over the last 4 years treat volatility in crypto markets as a key input that we manage, that we welcome, we embrace these last couple of months that we've seen in the crypto markets when Bitcoin drops from 126 to 86 in a couple of weeks. Our models allow us to make money in those environments rather than just sort of sit back and lose money and see the value of that we've built up in the treasury sort of drop away. So we're not just building it for ourselves, although we're eating our own dog food with our own treasury, but we will be selling it to anyone else who has a major treasury who also needs to properly manage the volatility that's inherent in the crypto market. So we think there's a huge market out there, and a platform gets valued by the value it unlocks and enables, not just by what's in its balance sheet. So you just said you made money on the way down for Bitcoin. How and was that going short? For people who aren't sure how to do that, because listen, the volatility is there. If there's a way to capitalize on both sides, everyone's all ears. Right. So for our own treasury, we build Bitcoin, we stack Ethereum and other coins, but we also have a mini hedge fund almost within our own treasury, looking out in advance, updating kind of the key features that we focus on, including the market's volatility, and telling us when, hey, we need to sell some calls here to protect the value of our treasury because we expect that the market is in for a kind of a near-term dip here. Eric, SRXH, that's the symbol. So this is a merger. Will you change the name and the symbol at some point? Yes, we announced the definitive agreement today that was signed. But the deal will close early in Q1. And upon closing, the ticker will change from SRXH, which it is today, to EMJX on the New York Stock Exchange.
I want to go over your targets on these cryptos. So you've got Bitcoin target 50 million, Ethereum 1.5 million. Over what time frame?
This is over the next 15 years, Charles.
Okay.
So this is a strategic framework. It's not a specific price target, certainly not for tomorrow. But basically, the key assumptions here, and I talked about this on Natalie Brunell's podcast a couple of weeks ago, is that we see Bitcoin, it's not just digital gold. We see Bitcoin becoming the global non-sovereign collateral layer over these next 15 years. Basically, kind of if you remember Eurodollar, kind of a replacement for Eurodollar and what everybody borrows against. It's sort of the most pristine collateral moving forward in our digital age. And for Ethereum, obviously AI is going to be exploding. Agentic AI is going to explode over the next 15 years. All those transactions, they have to be settled somewhere. There has to be an execution layer, and that layer is Ethereum. So both of these coins are going to go up significantly, almost hand in hand with the rise of AI over these next few years. But the important thing is we don't need that to happen in order to make money at EMJX with our own hedging program. Like I said before, we can make money even in these kind of near-term volatile markets like we've experienced over these last couple of months.
Eric, real quick, less than 30 seconds, but I want to get your thoughts. This Nextdoor is another name for you. We don't have time for you to go into all the nuances of it, but obviously this is what you do. You're great at it. The stock is coming off a pretty wonderful looking chart, double bottom, picking up steam. What's the value proposition here?
We started buying it a couple of weeks ago, Charles, at $1.70. It's up significantly. I think people misunderstand it and they think it's a Yelp type business that's just like a sort of a low multiple ad business. They don't realize this is going to be the poster child for agentic AI from a local perspective. They have 100 million verified registered users, 20 million active users a week, and they are hooking on AI to those users, and they're starting to offer services that they just couldn't offer before in the pre-AI world. So if you searched on Nextdoor looking for a plumber, they can know that, and they can say, hey, Charles, did you know there's going to be a great plumber that Tara, your neighbor, loves, and he's going to be in the neighborhood next week on Tuesday afternoon. If you'd like to book him, we'll do it now. We'll give you a 30% discount because he's already in the area. There's going to be the plethora of lead gen services offered by a company that's ready for the AI age, like Nextdoor, with those verified users.
I don't know how you do it, man, but you always find these names, these diamonds in the rough. Hey, by the way, congratulations. I want to continue to follow up on this, and of course, some of the other names that you've shared with us in the past. Thanks, Eric.
Really appreciate it, Charles.
All right, see you soon. By the way, programming an alert for I will be part of the
All
Fox
right.
business and
All right, let me load up this AI segment because David Sack, AI czar, apparently the blue states, and I don't know exactly how that they're inserting woke ideology into AI. If anybody was using those early Chat GPT models, you know that you couldn't prompt it to do certain things. Like you couldn't prompt it to like get certain sort of negative information about black women and stuff like that. Like, and it would give you like these woke responses, like, respect for all people is like, yeah. So, and I know that Elon created Grok as a competitor to Chat GPT because he was saying the open AI models were woke models. So David Sack is the AI czar for the Trump administration. So let's get into this real quick.
You still won't get it approved if you have to go to 50 states. So this centralizes it. This will not be successful unless they have one source of approval or disapproval, frankly. You can have disapproval too, but it's got to be one source. They can't go to 50 different sources.
100%, if you ask me, 100% right on that one. Joining us now, White House AI advisor, Mr. David Sachs. David, welcome back. Last time we spoke was during the campaign, as I recall. So we're delighted to see you in the White House. One national standard. That's going to be the goal. And you're going to be in the middle of this. putting together a task force and producing a document, as I understand it. I read the whole executive order last night in 90 days, which is, not going to be that easy. Tell us about one national standard. Let's start there.
Well, Larry, good to be with you. The problem that we have right now is that we've got 50 different states running in 50 different directions. There's 1,000 bills going through state legislatures right now to regulate AI, and over 100 of those measures have already passed. You've got strong-willed governors, for everyone from Gavin Newsom to Ron DeSantis. They're all proposing their own regulations. And what this is going to do is create a patchwork of regulatory regimes where if you're an AI company, and not just a big company, but a little company, you could just be an innovator, a startup entrepreneur, you've now got to figure out how to comply with 50 different regulatory regimes. And what the president has proposed here is to have a single national or federal framework. So there's just one set of regulations to comply with. And this will make it a lot easier for our innovators.
What, looking at these state interferences, these content interferences, information interferences, what's out there that they're harping on that could really, screw the pooch?
Well, there's a lot of different things. What we're seeing is that a lot of these state politicians are using every anxiety that the public may have about AI, and they're trying to propose a regulation around it. Even though those anxieties, they may not be proven yet. There may not be data around it. There's a lot of regulations being formed around horror stories. It's very much a knee-jerk reaction. And we don't need 1,000 bills at the state level. I mean, that just tells you how out of proportion this reaction is to the real issues of AI. Now, as part of our federal framework, we acknowledge that there needs to be some addressing of child safety concerns. We have said that we're going to do that. And I think that we will put forward something there in terms of our framework. But in terms of some of these unnecessary regulations, you look at a state like Colorado, they have outlawed a thing they call algorithmic discrimination. What that means is that if an AI model creates what they call a disparate impact on a protected group, then that is illegal. And not just the business that makes the decision is liable, but the AI developer is liable. Well, how are they even supposed to know all the ways that their AI model is going to be used? So that is an attempt by Colorado to insert ideology into the model. What they really want to do there is force model developers to put a DEI layer in the model to avoid a disparate impact on a protected group. That raises very serious First Amendment concerns. We don't like seeing blue states trying to insert their woke ideology in AI models, and we really want to try and stop that.
I mean, anyway, reading through the EO is put together pretty well, I thought. If you let the states run wild, you'd be breaking the Interstate Commerce Clause. They would be stopping commerce. They would be stopping the development of this valuable technology. Startups would be dead in the water if they had to worry about 10 different state regulations.
That's right. Well, and here's the thing, Larry. When you've got an AI model and the code's written by developers in one or several states, and then it's trained in a data center in another state, and then the model gets prompted by a user, it's called inference, in another state, and then the whole service is delivered over national telecommunications infrastructure, which of those states has the right to regulate that model? Right now, they're all laying claim to regulating that AI model, and those regulations can be in contradiction with each other. This is a totally untenable situation for AI companies. This is why we need a single federal framework. This is classic interstate commerce.
Yes, that's what I thought. So how are we, just in the last few moments, how are we doing, Coach? How are we doing on the AI crusade?
Well, Larry, I think we're doing great in the AI race. As you mentioned, we are in a global competition. China is our main competitor. We have to win this AI race against China. It's fundamental for our economy, for our future growth. The country that leads in AI is going to be the leading economy in the world. We have to make sure that's us. There's also national security considerations. AI is going to be used to develop the algorithms that are going to power drones and things like that. So it's very important for both our security and our economy that we win this AI race against China. We cannot afford for our entrepreneurs to be hindered by this confusing patchwork of regulation. And if I could just say, there's only one category where we're behind China, and that's in optimism. If you look at AI optimism,
Storm said this is what New Scum is known for. He will hit businesses with regulation after regulation until businesses will either go under or pick up and leave because they are not making any profit. We got a lot of that going on in Democratic run cities and states.
Roughly 83% of Chinese citizens are optimistic about AI. Only 39% of Americans are optimistic about AI. And that has a lot to do with the media. They keep constantly drum up these fears, which are unfounded, of things like AI job loss or loss of control. There's no evidence to support those horror stories, but yet the media keeps drumming up these horror stories. And that's what's driving this, this knee-jerk reaction in the states to regulate AI. But if we keep going with this, and if we don't do what President Trump is saying that we need to do, which is create that federal framework, China is going to take the lead in this AI race.
Bunch of lefty Luddites, David. That's what you got going. Bunch of lefty Luddites. As I'll be as polite as I can. Anyway, Mr. David Sachs, White House AI advisor, thank you. We appreciate it very, very much. Good luck. Appreciate it.
Excellent. That is a wrap for that. Let's do this by the number 37-minute mark. Let's do this by the number section. Get the hell up out of here. On the pop in and do or the hop or the stream and just do some quick news. Perfect. This by the numbers is different. This isn't by our guy Mark over at Rasmussen. This is actually from election time. We've done some of their polling and projection numbers with the models that they work on. But this one in particular is actually novel. And this is them having an AI. This is an AI prediction for 2028 election map, i.e. electoral votes. And it's not far-fetched to use this because Poly Market is the biggest prediction market, pretty much, well, at least most popular in the world. And this is very, very similar to a Poly Market prediction. And this prediction is being done using all of the available data sets and data points that are available at the moment. So let's go. 2028 electoral map.
Its prediction for the 2028 presidential election. And so today we'll be taking a look at AI's electoral map and see who comes out on top. To start, I asked for a nominee from both parties. On the Republican side, Vice President J.D. Vance was the clear pick. He's currently polling at 45% among Republican voters, and according to ChatGPT, his most likely pick for vice president would be Secretary of State Marco Rubio. And then for the Democrats...
Okay, and that is my pick for president, vice president. I think Newsom Rubio would actually be pretty good.
Gavin Newsom was selected out of a crowded...
I didn't say Newsom. I meant J.D. Vance Rubio would be pretty good.
Field of potential Democratic hopefuls. He's currently polling ahead of former Vice President Kamala Harris and former Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg. And according to AI, his most likely running mate would be Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro. And now coming to the map, I also asked ChatGPT to give me a prediction for the margin from every single state. And so we're just going to jump right into it, starting off with the safe states for the J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio ticket. These are states that AI predicts the Republicans will win by 15 percentage points or more. And they include Utah, Wyoming, Idaho, Montana, North and South Dakota, all of Nebraska except its 2nd district, Kansas, Oklahoma, Missouri, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, West Virginia, Indiana, South Carolina, and Florida. This would be the first time any presidential candidate won Florida by a solid margin in the 21st century. However, considering that Marco Rubio served 2 terms as a senator from the Sunshine State, it is not too surprising to see.
Facts. Let's nerd out.
And of course, we saw that in 2024, Donald Trump carried Florida by 13 points. And now for the Democrats, we have a roughly equal amount of votes that will go to Gavin Newsom and Josh Shapiro from the safe states alone. According to ChatGPT's prediction, Democrats are on track to carry the entirety of the West Coast by at least 15 points, as well as Hawaii, New York, Vermont, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Delaware, Maryland, the District of Columbia, as well as the 1st District of Maine. This gives the Democratic ticket 148 electoral votes. Meanwhile, J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio have a 4-vote lead at 152. And before we continue, we're going to take a quick look at the national polls that have been conducted for this exact matchup between the vice president and the governor of California. We've gotten 5 polls over the last 5 months, with J.D. Vance leading in 3 of them. Gavin Newsom only ahead in 1. This poll conducted by Yahoo News, which is not a good pollster. We don't even have a sample size for it. And so generally, Vance does have the slightest of edges nationally. And of course, as a Republican, if Vance wins the national vote, there is no doubt he will also come out on top in the Electoral College. And so now that we're back at the map, we'll continue by filling in the likely states for both tickets. These are states that ChatGPT gave to either party by margins of 5 to 15 points. They are going to be competitive. However, one candidate still retains a pretty clear edge. And so starting off with the likely red states, we're going to begin up top in Maine, and specifically its 2nd congressional district. Republicans will win it for a 4th time in a row. The last Democrat to win it was Barack Obama back in 2012. Vance is also going to take Texas. This is going to be an easy win. A few years ago, it seemed as if the state could actually flip blue. That was after Trump carried Texas by just 5 points.
I want to see if they predict Pennsylvania flipping red. Right now they got it light blue or purple, like a 50-50.
In 2020. However, 4 years later against Kamala Harris, he'll win it by nearly 14 points. Texas is no longer competitive. Republicans have a clear edge here, and it will easily go to the Republicans in 2028. They will also take Alaska and its 3 electoral votes, as well as both Iowa and Ohio. These are 2 states that Trump flipped back in 2016 that he's won ever since. In 2012, Obama won both of them, Iowa by 6 and Ohio by 3. In fact, Obama won every single state in the Midwest except for Indiana. 4 years later, Trump wins every single state in the Midwest except for Minnesota and Illinois. He flips Iowa, winning it by 9, and Ohio winning it by 8. He then holds on to it in 2020. Even though Joe Biden won the Electoral College, he still wins Iowa and Ohio by virtually the same margin. But then in 2024, Trump wins both by double digits, Iowa by 13 and Ohio by 11. And so J.D. Vance's connections to the Midwest will be a huge asset for Republicans if he is the nominee. Of course, Vance was a first-term senator from Ohio when he was elected vice president last year. And Republicans need him here not because...
Okay, so right now AI's got Pennsylvania as a toss-up with the 19 electoral votes. Grayed out, okay, it's a toss-up. That's fair.
They want to win Iowa and Ohio specifically, but because of the importance of Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, the 3 key swing states that won Trump the elections of 2016 and 2024, but helped Biden win in 2020. And so the importance of the Midwest is one of the big reasons why people are betting on Vance and why Republicans think he would be the most strategic choice on top of the fact that he's the vice president. According to the market odds on Kalshi, Vance has a 47% chance of being the Republican nominee in 2028, followed by Marco Rubio at just 10. And in third, it's actually Marjorie Taylor Greene coming in at 4. And then for the Democrats, it also makes sense that Vance was chosen as the nominee by AI for this prediction, as he does have a 35% chance of winning the primary. AOC is in second at 9, and then former Vice President Kamala Harris, if she decides to run again, is at 6. And so unlike in the past, we have a pretty clear favorite for both of the nominations. On the Republican side, it is Vance, and for the Democrats, it's Newsom. And so that is why this prediction is not as speculative as it might seem, even though we are quite a few years out from the election, as it is pretty likely that this will be the matchup. Maybe not the running mate, but at least the election between Vance and Newsom seems significantly more likely than any other possibility. And now, continuing to fill in the map, we're going to fill in the likely states for the Democrats now. And Gavin Newsom and Josh Shapiro, they're easily going to win Colorado and New Mexico. These states will be selected.
All right, this is a forecast prediction for 2028 presidential run, and this is J.D. Vance Rubio ticket versus the blue ticket Gavin Newsom / Josh Shapiro.
By nearly 4. In 2020, he won it by 1, and then in 2024, he carried it by 3.2. North Carolina is likely going to continue voting Republican, giving the Vance ticket an additional 16 electoral votes. Neighboring Georgia will be lean red as well, especially considering the fact that Trump won the state in 2024 after narrowly losing it in 2020 to Joe Biden by less than 1/4 of a percentage point. This was the closest state in the entire 2020 election. But Georgia generally is still more Republican than it is liberal. It's probably going to elect a new Republican governor in 2026, and so it makes sense that AI placed it into the lean red category. And then we have one more in the Sun Belt and then one in the Midwest. Starting off with Arizona, 11 electoral votes. This will also be lean red. It's similar to Georgia in that Biden carried it in 2020 by a very narrow margin. And for both Arizona and Georgia, the last Democrat to win either of these two states was Bill Clinton in the 1990s. But unlike in Georgia, Trump actually performed significantly better in Arizona than in Georgia 4 years later against Kamala Harris, as Trump carried Arizona by 5.5 points. This is a huge swing considering how close it was just 4 years prior. And so with Gavin Newsom as the governor of California, Vance is probably not going to perform as well in Arizona as Trump did, but it's still going to be a victory nonetheless. And then the final lean state on this map will be Michigan. 15 electoral votes going in favor of Vance and Rubio. Of course, it does neighbor Ohio, and this is where Vance's advantage in the Midwest comes in. It is what gets their ticket over 270 electoral votes. The reason why Michigan went first for the GOP before Wisconsin is likely because in 2024, Trump won Michigan by 1.4. Wisconsin, the margin was less than 1%. And so the three remaining states are all going to be incredibly, incredibly close. They're all going to be decided by less than 1%, at least according to AI's prediction. And so we're going to start off with Nevada.
Okay, all right, boom. So here we go. The last three in contention are Nevada, Wisconsin, and my Pennsylvania with 19 electoral votes. I can see how it's a toss-up. This is the first time we flipped Pennsylvania red. People actually thought it was impossible. So let's go.
6 electoral votes. It is, of course, the state that neighbors California, and that is the main reason why it goes to Newsom in this prediction. It's going to be by a very narrow margin. Ironically, Republicans actually won Nevada in 2024 for the first time in 2 decades. Before Trump's victory here, no other Republican had won the Silver State since George W. Bush back in 2000. But with Gavin Newsom on the ticket as the nominee, the state could flip back and give the Democratic ticket an additional 6 electoral votes. And then shifting our focus back to the Midwest just one final time, we have Wisconsin and Pennsylvania. Both of the states went for Trump in 2016 by less than 1%. And then in 2020, Biden won Wisconsin by less than 1, Pennsylvania by 1.2. And then most recently, of course, Wisconsin was tilt, and then Pennsylvania was won by Trump by 1.7. Of course, Wisconsin has actually been tilt in all 3 of the last 3 elections, and ChatGPT believes that it will be a tilt state once again, with it going to the Vance Rubio ticket by the narrowest of margins. And then in Pennsylvania, the main reason why it's going to Gavin Newsom is because Josh Shapiro is the state's incumbent governor. That's the biggest reason why it will deviate from Wisconsin.
Facts. That's right. Shapiro is governor. Yes, it may flip back below. All right, so this is AI's projection. Where's that leave us with electoral votes, though? Does the Vance Rubio ticket still win? Said 287.
And Michigan. All three of these states have actually voted for the same candidate in every single presidential election going back 3 decades. The last one where they didn't was in 1988 in the election of George H.W. Bush. But according to ChatGPT's prediction, Pennsylvania will be tilted in favor of the California governor. And so this is it. This is the 2028 presidential election map based on Chat.
Okay, so AI prediction still has us with 287 electoral votes to their 251 electoral votes. Even if they win Pennsylvania, that put us over the
ChatGPT's latest prediction with Gavin Newsom and Josh Shapiro as the Democratic candidates and J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio as the Republican nominees. And this result does make sense. Looking at the betting markets on Kalshi, J.D. Vance is the clear favorite to be the 49th president of the United States. Gavin Newsom in second place at 20%. And like I said earlier on, this is by far the most likely scenario at this point. And if this does happen, things are looking good for Republicans as Vance.
All right, I got to put some money on Vance on Kalshi and Poly Market. All right, bet. All right, that's about the numbers for the evening. We'll come back and revisit these AI forecasts versus the real-time, real-world polling and what have you, closer we get to the elections. I'm actually interested in seeing how accurate AI is at predicting these elections. But they've got J.D. Vance on Kalshi. That's a prediction market. With a 40% chance of being next president. I gotta check Poly Market. Yeah, because I'm gonna put some money on Vance as well. He does look like the heir apparent. It's pretty much his to mess up. All right, we are at the 53-minute mark. That is my time. I'll see you guys next time, man. It's News Desk. I'm out.
Hey, where's Stewie? That's tomorrow, and that is it for us today. Okay, I don't know. Whatever it is, it's not right on the teleprompter.
There it is. We are going to do Sting, yeah.
There's no words there. To play us out. What does that mean, to play us out? To end the show?
Yeah.
All right, go.
In 5, 4, 3.
That's tomorrow, and that is it for us today, and we'll leave you with a... I can't do it. We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it, and we'll do it live. Fucking thing sucks.
In 5, 4, 3.
That's tomorrow, and that is it for us today. I'm Stewie Griffin. Thanks for watching. We'll leave you with Sting and a cut off his new album. Take it away.